Hello, my name is Guadalupe Saiz. I'm the Development Coordinator here at St. Luke the Evangelist. Thank you for joining me as we discuss the plans for our new multipurpose building at Riverstone Ranch. We will also be talking about the future of St. Luke and the overall master plan for our campus. Let's begin. We are going to be discussing from our plans that started back in 2019 to today. In 2019, we received permission to start a capital campaign and begin Phase 2. Remember, Phase 1 was when we built the Seneca Learning Center. Now, Phase 2 will be this new multipurpose building. Studio Red was chosen out of 3 architectural firms that were interviewed by not only people from our parish, but also by the Archdiocese to help us carry out our vision. November 2019, architects Trung and Sheila met with over 30 members of our staff and ministry leads to understand their needs for offices, storage, and meeting spaces. It was determined that a multi-purpose building would be best to serve our needs, and the preliminary plans were drawn for the Family Life Center. This Family Life Center, which will be a multi-purpose building, will hold our offices, meeting rooms, social hall, and temporary worship space. So imagine all of the buildings at our Hall Road campus, all of our needs will now have to be taken care of by our multipurpose building and the Seneca Learning Center at the Riverstone Ranch campus. Then in 2020, COVID hit and everything shut down, including our plans for the capital campaign. But thanks to you guys and to all our parishioners who helped us, made us through. It was because of your financial assistance that we were able to make it through those rough times. Thank you so very much for financially supporting your parish. At the beginning of 2022, we began looking at the plans again. It seemed like everything pretty much is settling down, and we thought maybe we should start looking at them again. In July of 2022, we received a pleasant surprise. A non-denominational congregation approached us about purchasing our Hall Road campus. Now, back in 2019, we were told by the Archdiocese that it might be difficult to sell our campus. There's not a lot of people who are looking to buy a parish campus. So when this gentleman came in July of 2022 and said, "A little birdie told me that you guys were planning on moving and we're interested in buying your campus," I just about fainted. And in my head, I was thinking, it's not so much a little birdie that told you, but it was the Holy Spirit that was whispering in your ear. So we were very excited. On August 12, 2022, we met with Cardinal DiNardo and the Archdiocesan Building Review Commission to ask for permission to sell our Hall Road campus and officially kick off our capital campaign for Phase 2 once again. We were granted permission to proceed, and were told by the Cardinal and the Building Review Commission that they were very supportive of our future plans. The process for an official appraisal is well on its way. Now remember, our campus is owned by the Archdiocese, so all of the arrangements for the appraisal and hopeful sale will all be done by them. They told us that the appraisal process may take anywhere from 30 to 45 days to complete. A realtor did come and look at our property, and he said it more realistically, it might take 3 months. Just so that you know, when the campus is sold, the money will not go to the Archdiocese. Although they're taking care of all of the arrangements, the money will go to pay for our new building, for the construction cost. So we will be receiving that money from the sale. But wait, there's more. On September 13th, we met with the architects and 2 representatives of the Archdiocesan Building Committee, and we were asked to revisit the building plans that we had made back in 2019 to see about cutting square footage off of the building, which in return would reduce the cost. Why would we be asked to do this? Well, back in 2019, when we made these plans, the building was going to cost us about $10 million. Because of the craziness that has gone on with COVID and the recession and the way things are costing nowadays, that same building, without making any changes, will cost us more like $13 million today. On September 14th, Father Guthrie, Donna, and myself met with the pastoral staff from our church and talked about how we could reduce the square footage of the building. It looked like a war room. We had maps, we had plans, we had all kinds of stuff up on the walls, and we were talking about what exactly are the needs of today. We were able to go from a 2-story building to a 1-story building. How do we do that? Well, first of all, if you all remember back, before 2019, we had an early childhood center, which is like a daycare that we ran from our church. In December of 2019, the Early Childhood Center, ECC, officially closed. Now, the reason we needed the second story, all the second story were meeting rooms and classrooms. So the reason we needed that was because at the time we had the Early Childhood Center, it was occupied Monday through Friday from early in the morning until 6:30 in the evening. So therefore, we needed somewhere where our ministries could meet and have classes or meetings in the morning. And also, it was very difficult because in the evening, our faith formation would meet there, and they would have to wait until after the Early Childhood Center children were gone. But now we have these meeting rooms at our disposal. Also, our faith formation classes that are happening now currently at the Senecal, the latest they're there is going to be at 6:30. So therefore, we can have the children out of the building and then make use of the building, the Senecal Learning Center, in the evening starting at 7 o'clock for adult classes and meetings. We also decided to build the bell tower at a later time. It was discussed, and although we really wanted the bell tower, it wasn't something that was absolutely needed for the day-to-day operations of the church. So the bell tower will be built at a later time. On September 21st, we met again with the architects, and we were absolutely convinced that we had done such a fantastic job that they were going to be so proud of us and we were going to get to move on. Now you have to understand that these architects have built churches with the Archdiocese before and are currently doing so at the time. And they asked us, wait for it, can we take more square footage off of the building? Yes, at this point, my heart did break. But after a good night's sleep and some time to really pray and think about what they were truly asking us to do, I think that you will find, just like I did, that it was a good thought process. Because this process will help us build the best building for our parish. Number one, we will not have to take out such a big loan. We will be able to pay off the loan even quicker and move on to the next step, the next phase sooner than later from our master plan. And in reducing the square footage of the building, it is our hope that we will not end up with areas in the Family Life Center that will go unused once other buildings are built on the campus. So, after all this thought process, we felt that it was maybe not such a big deal that we took off the second story. So we were kind of happy and we moved on. But this is kind of why I don't have final plans to present to you, because it is not, we still have to go through the discussion. We haven't been able to have a meeting yet as to whether what we discussed is final and we can go ahead and move on. So why are we in such a hurry? Well, the architects have informed us that this process will take 24 months. So it's a 2-year process. 1 year for designing and permitting and 1 year for construction. So our current campus is really requiring us more time, effort, and money to maintain. It's just really unbelievable the amount of work that has to go in and just trying to keep it all together. The money that we're using to maintain our existing campus could really be used to build new buildings and meet our future needs. We will be celebrating our 50th anniversary in 2025. We want to be at our Riverstone Ranch campus by then. And how beautiful will it be to be able to celebrate our 50th anniversary in our new home? The prospective buyer of existing campus would also help us take us to the next step of our master plan and help us move to a larger campus and give us potential for more growth. So what now? We are really moving forward with the knowledge that all things are possible through Christ. The final plans will come together for the building, and we will eventually find out the cost of this building. But for now, it's important for us to move forward with the faith in God that He will lead us through whatever it is that we need to go through. For now, our goal is to raise $3 million in 3 years. So how do we come up with that goal if we don't know how much the building is going to cost? Well, the Archdiocese kind of has a formula that they kind of look at to how much a parish can bring in a capital campaign. And usually what it does, it will take how much they brought in annually and then double it. So our annual income for 2021 and 22 was approximately 1.6 million. Double that, it'll be 3.2 million. So we rounded it, and our goal is 3 million. So they also have a lending rule, so rule of thumb. The bottom line is the Archdiocese will give us a loan based on the money that we have on hand. And what does that mean? Well, the savings in our building fund that's already in the bank and what we can potentially raise in a capital campaign. And we just talked about how that number comes in the previous slide. So for example, in our building fund right now, we have a little over $1 million. And thank you so very much for all of those who continue to give to our building fund. I know it was a sacrifice and was really hard to do, especially with COVID. But thanks to you guys, we have a little over 1 million in the bank to start this off. Our capital campaign gifts and pledges, again, our $3 million goal. So total on hand, we have about 4 million. The Archdiocese loan will match what we have on hand. So they will match that 4 million. So that gives us a budget for a building with the project cost of $8 million, for example. So what about the sale of the Hall Road campus? I know I didn't mention that, and I know you're curious, but the reason we kind of don't put that number in is because there are two big variables. When will the sale go through, and how much would we get for it? And right now, we don't know that. We don't know when it's going to sell. We don't know who's going to buy it. We don't know how much they're going to offer. We don't even know how much the property is appraised at. So that's why we're not adding any kind of numbers for the sale of the campus into our formula or into our future plans. When we get the money, it will be the cherry on top and an added blessing. That money will go to paying off the loan that we borrowed in order to start the construction. Many eyes will be on our progress. When I was making this presentation, Father Kingsley came behind me and said, "Who are those eyes? Who do they belong to?" And I said, "Father, those are the Archdiocesan eyes." So what are they going to be looking at? But I want you to understand before I go into this is that it's just business. We can't take this personally. It's just like with anyone. If you borrow money from, even if it's your aunt or uncle, they're going to be looking at what is the probability that you're going to be able to pay this back. So this is what they're looking at. How much seed money is gifted prior to the capital campaign even getting started? Now that we've had these information meetings and you guys know a little bit more about what's going on and what we're doing, and you've had time to really pray about it and talk to your family, how much seed money are we able to put forward? Pledges. This to them is an indication of the parishioners' commitment and excitement towards the capital campaign. So when they see these pledges, these pledge cards that go out on the capital campaign kickoff on our feast day on the 15th and 16th of October, we record those commitment cards, and these commitment cards will continue to keep going out until we're done with the campaign. We get all these commitment cards, we put them in a software, and we report that consistently back to the Archdiocese. So they'll see this is how much people have committed, and this is how much they're actually paying off on that commitment. Regular offertory. This is why we've been trying to encourage our people to please support financially their parish. What happens is that in 2019, when we were first trying to get started on this capital campaign, the Archdiocese was having a difficult time, and we can understand why. Only 20% of our parishioners were actually contributing to the financial needs of the parish. They're really looking for this number to increase, and frankly, so are we. It's very difficult for us to try to plead for a capital campaign where we need new buildings, we need to expand, when they're looking at our numbers and say, if really we don't see that your parishioners are even trying to support your basic financial needs, what makes us think that they're going to support a capital campaign and building of a new building? Did we make a good effort to reduce the square footage of the building? Absolutely yes. I can definitely tell you. Our financial council meeting minutes will have to be submitted to the Archdiocese. They want to make sure that our finance council knows what we're doing and to make sure that they approve. These council members are parishioners just like you who sit with the pastor and look at all the things that are the financial needs of the parish, and they make decisions on that. So all of these minutes need to be taken and sent to the Archdiocese so that they know that they are being told and informed of what we are doing with the capital campaign and the new building. The number of registered households needs to increase. In August 2022, we had 1,021 households. They said that there was a very low number. Now, why is this important? Well, it's important to us because that is proof. If we have parishioners that are coming to our parish but are not registered, we have no proof that we have a larger number of congregation. So when we're trying to ask for bigger buildings or we're trying to ask for a bigger campus, our numbers are not proving that it's there. If you feel that St. Luke the Evangelist is your spiritual home, that we ask that you please make sure that you are a registered parishioner of St. Luke. So why do we need to move? This is an aerial picture of our current Hall Road campus. Currently, we are on a little over 5 acres of land surrounded by single-family homes. The parking, as you can see, is very limited. This also limits our abilities to bring more people in. If our church is full, it makes it very difficult to get to have everybody have ease of parking. They start parking on the streets, neighbors get upset, that kind of happens, and we get phone calls. So it really does limit our ability to expand our congregation. It limits the community services that we can hold on campus due to limited parking. When we have food drives or if we have festivals and we have that in the rear parking lot, that really limits us, and we're having to bus people in from other places, or they're parking in the streets and people are getting upset. We really need a place to where we can expand. Our sanctuary seats approximately 650. In one of our meetings, one of our parishioners thankfully came up to me and said the renovation, it was more like 750. So we're going to say between 650 and 750, we're able to seat in our sanctuary. Keep that number in mind. So our new campus will allow us to spread out. So we're moving from 5 acres to 20 acres. Now this is our Riverstone Ranch property here. This is our acreage right here, which is the solid rectangle, and this is the Senecal Learning Center. This area right here is now surrounded by single-family homes. I know it says apartment complexes, but my apologies, that's not correct. They're all single-family homes, and they're all have been built already. So we're now enclosed. We can no longer spread this way or that way. Single-family homes have already been built and are occupied in the surrounding areas. 3 schools surround our area, and I will show them to you in the next slide. Our potential for growth within our congregation is exponentially high. Look at all these single dwelling homes that are around, and there's still more popping up. And it is extremely high, and we should be excited at the fact that we can really expand our congregation. And in expanding our congregation, it will also increase the opportunity to expand the kingdom of God. And after all, that is why we're here. So as I said, we're surrounded by 3 schools. Right across the street is South Bell Elementary. We're right here. This is the Senecal Learning Center. This is South Bell Elementary. Thompson Intermediate is a future school that will be done in, I believe, October of 2023, or in 2023 it'll be done. And then Melillo Middle School is right here. And smack right in the middle is us, St. Luke the Evangelist. So, what are the current issues with our facility? Well, to be honest, a little bit of everything. I know that a lot of the times we're in Mass and Father will say, well, the air conditioner broke, well, this broke, that broke. And honestly, we don't report every time something breaks because I think that y'all would just get extremely discouraged. But we did have engineer company come and look at our campus, and they told us that it would take $5 million just to get the campus up to standard. Why spend $5 million on something that we need to leave behind? Isn't it better to invest $5 million on our future? I understand that $3 million might seem like a lot, or to build a $10 million building might seem like a lot. But that's why we use the loaves of bread and fish in our logo. We really feel that our Heavenly Father will bless our efforts and take our gifts and multiply them, because He has had His hand in getting us to move since the beginning. It was He who sent a person who actually gave us some of the land, I repeat, and then the rest of the land, he was able to negotiate a very, very low price on it that we were able to purchase. And he was not Catholic. The gentleman that came, the pastor that came and said, you know, I would love to buy your campus, they're constantly praying for us for this deal to go through because they really want to purchase our campus. God's hand has been definitely very visible in His participation in helping us move to our new campus. I really feel that He has done His part and He will continue to do His part, but we must also step up and do our part in this and get us to move to our new campus. So let's talk about our new campus and about our new building, the Family Life Center. Right now we have the Senecal Learning Center, this parking space here and this parking space here, or these 2 parking areas. In phase 2, it'll be the Family Life Center here, number 3. We'll add this additional parking spaces here and this here, in the front and a retention pond. And this is kind of a layout. It is a tentative layout. Remember, we talked about that nothing is written in stone yet, but this is kind of what we planned out. Between the people who met back in 2019, all the ministry leads and staff, and what we talked about our current needs. So this is what we'll look at. This is the lobby area here. So this will be like our narthex, and it's going to be a very nice, spacious, long narthex. Currently in our main sanctuary, we have 2 bathrooms. So I just want you to look over here, this beautiful vision of glory right here, and this over here. We actually have 2 sets of bathrooms, both men and women here, men here, again, women here and men here, and even a family bathroom. When we were talking about making the square footage less, I definitely jumped on it and said, do not touch the bathrooms, because the bathrooms is something that we definitely need. So that has been actually saved in the plans, and hopefully nothing will get shrunk from there, and we can enjoy these glorious bathrooms. Here we have where the acolytes will change. We have a bride room. Here we have 2 confessionals. And all of these that you see in orange will be a storage area. Once we finish building the rest of the buildings on our campus, this is going to be our permanent social hall. So as you can see, it's all this area here. It's a very large area. So we're going to have a nice big social hall. For the meantime, this area here is going to act as our church, our worship space. Now remember back when we were talking about our current sanctuary holding 650 to 750 people, this will hold 658. This actually is in 3 sections. So these 2 sections will stay as our permanent liturgy area for now in this building until we build our church. But it'll have here a movable partition wall that will actually be closed off, and this will serve as our social hall. When we have Christmas or Easter, that we have those big high holy masses, we will push this divider down and we will add additional seating here so that more people can join us at Mass. These chairs will not be moved. They will be there, so we don't have to play that set up and tear down every single day. That'll just stay there. We'll have stairs leading up to the altar. We will be bringing the platform that we have now with the chairs where the priest and the deacon sit. I know that the tabernacle shows here, but it'll more than likely be moved to a different area so that we can accommodate the priest and the deacon's chairs. There'll be a full wall here, not a complete wall that goes up to the ceiling, but it's like a backdrop to where the priests sit and the altar. This will serve as a sacristy with a sink. Off to the left, you'll see a multi-purpose room. This will be where the liturgy, where the choir can practice before Mass, and then also there'll be an area for art and environment. It has a tiny little sink right there. Here is where the priest will get ready for Mass. And into this area here, you will see will be our daily chapel. It will also work as a cry room. So when it is the chapel, and remember, don't know if we discussed, but in our current chapel, we can hold about 20 people, 30 if we really love each other. This one will hold 41 people. It has a glass wall where you'll be able to see into the main liturgy space. When is being used as a cry room, and these 2 purple meeting rooms here, we talked about back in 2019 that we really didn't, and currently still, we have certain groups that have large numbers in their membership. And when they meet, they need a bigger space than just a normal sized meeting room, but not so much so that they would need the whole social hall. So we had 2 meeting rooms. This will hold 155 people, and this one will hold 104. There will be a lobby area here where you can enter during parish office hours. You can come into this area here. The parish office will be here. The admin office staff will be in the back. There is a conference table here, workroom, and storage area. These over here are the only offices that you will see, and it'll be for the pastor, parochial vicar, bookkeeper, and business manager. The rest of us will be in cubicles. There's also another lobby area that is back here, and this will be just if you wanted to visit our social services, our Gabriel project, or credit union. And this, like I said, will have its own entrance, and it'll be closed off to everything else, so there is no need to gain access to the rest of the building if they just need to visit these 3 offices. And the original square footage of the building that we were building before was 31,360 square feet. We were able to take it down to 24,778 square feet. Here is what the lobby area will look like. These 2 pictures are how we envision church looking like, where we have mass. And this is the cry room / day chapel. You can see right here, there is that glass window that'll allow you to look into the main liturgical area. Now let's talk about our master plan for the campus. So this right here, number 1, is the Senecal Learning Center. What we're going to build next is our Family Life Center. That's number 3. This is our day chapel, which is number 10. Now remember, in our chapel before, we were able to hold anywhere from 20 to 30 people. Our day chapel will now be able to hold 250 people. So why build such a big day chapel? Well, number 7 here is what we hope is going to be our big church, our final church. Now, our church, remember, we talked about holding anywhere from 650 to 750 people. Well, this church will hold 1,500. It will seat 1,500. So when we have day mass, funerals, or small weddings, we can just have all that in the day chapel without having to open and use power or air condition and whatever. For the big church, we just hold it in the small chapel. Both of them will have covered areas where you can kind of drive around, drop somebody off, and then move on so that they don't get wet when it's raining. And both of them, like I said, have this little covered drop-off area. In the middle, we're going to have an outdoor pavilion that's absolutely beautiful, and this is usually Father's favorite part of the presentation, because inside they have what are called big ass fans, and we didn't give them the name. That's just the name of the company. That's what the fans are called, and Father is quite excited about that. Number 9, that's going to be our faith formation building, youth faith formation. This will go back to being adult faith formation. The Senecal will be used for adult faith formation. This will be a faith formation for our youth. It'll hold pre-K through 12th grade. And that's why there's a play area here. We currently do have a play area here at the Senecal. We're thinking, I don't know if we would move it over here for now, but so both buildings could use it, but for the moment it's right there because of the early childhood center. And then number 8 will be our office building. So all admin, parish office, all the priest, everybody would be in this final office here, and that's the beloved bell tower. We love our courtyard area. We like the privacy and the seclusion that it holds. It's a very nice place to go and do private prayer. And that's why we did the buildings the way we did it, because we feel that it kind of surrounds this inner area where we can provide, or we can create little pockets of prayer areas, so that it can keep the same kind of feel that our courtyard does at the time. These right here are all covered walkways, so you can walk from one building to the other without having to get wet. And these again are retention pond areas that we need to have. Number 12, they had talked about before doing a rectory on site, but there's really no need for it because we have a rectory already, a home where our priests live. So that is going to be a maintenance building. Here, this little area, I don't know if you can see, but there is a small area back here. This is where our container is going to go. I don't know if y'all know, there is a container where we have our bazaar stuff and some other equipment. This is where the container will go, and this is a covered area. I know especially our KCs who love to do those wonderful fish fries and barbecues. And this is a covered area where they will be able to do that, and then, have drive-thrus here for us to easily pick up that wonderful food. This again is that outdoor pavilion. It's very nice. We'll be even able to use it at our festivals, possibly, receptions or events out here on beautiful days. On the 2 days that it's nice and cool, it'll be absolutely wonderful. This is that playground area again, and this is the Senecal Learning Center, which is already on the property at Riverstone Ranch. Here is the Family Life Center, which we're excited about. This is the building we're telling you. Now remember, these were plans that were drawn out in 2019. So at that time, the building was going to be 2 stories. So imagine that building without the top floor. So just make it shorter. Here we have the day chapel. So this is if you're parked off to the side and looking at it in the front. This is that covered area where you can drop off. And that's right here. This is another view a little bit further away. So you can see the chapel straight ahead. Again, this is in the back area, which will make it quite nice because we'll know where to park. And for daily mass. And then this is the area looking at the church. We were thinking of putting the bell tower here because this is beautiful and wonderful and calls people to the church, but wait till you see what's coming behind it, because that will be our beautiful, beautiful church when we're done with all of our campus. Again, this is what your campus, we foresee your campus to look like. Very beautiful, very welcoming. And this is the beloved tower. Again, we will be taking all of our statues, crucifix, everything that is St. Luke, we will be taking with us, including our beloved bell, Maria Guadalupe. Our bell will be going here. And Father has continued to do some research, and he found that the same company that built Maria Guadalupe is still in business, and he definitely will reach out to them to get them to build that second bell so that she can have a sister or brother bell. This is our future. How long it takes us to get there is really up to us. Thank you for joining me. I hope you are as excited as I am about our future. Let us continue to be the hearts, hands, and feet of Jesus in our community. Let us continue to build the kingdom of God. We are St. Luke.